Yeah.
I missed you last week. I cried and cried.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
We have to let Keith go on vacation once in a while. It gets a little awry if we don't. Did you have a fun time, Keith?
Yeah, it was a good time, good break, and ready to get back at it.
Yeah. A little bit of a quiet week this week.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all right.
it was.
We didn't need much excitement.
No.
We've had enough excitement this year already. Well, we could use a little bit more, but yeah, a little bit quiet. Heart going out to you guys out trying to get out in the fields and get some stuff out of the fields.
Mm-hmm.
It's been kind of a tough one this year with a lot of rain, and hopefully some of you are able to get in and get some of that crop out. Calling for rain again tonight.
What can you do?
Yeah, well, you've got no control over it. So, yep. So what else have we got going on this week? We have a little bit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as the title said, we've get questions about different bookkeeping programs out there, and we'll talk about some of the alternatives.
Yeah.
That are out there. And then earlier this week, we finished up a network project. Mm-hmm. We'll give that a recap for everybody out there. Mm-hmm. And then, you kind of mentioned the little hiatus we had for the past few weeks, taking time off, and then just trying to fill our time when we're not so busy with the trouble tickets.
Yeah. But while Keith was away, I was not playing.
Oh, no. Okay.
No. I was busy.
Yeah.
And we did have tickets, but I still have it.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that, we're going to get into our shameless plug of our residential protection plan.
The Residential Protection Plan by HonorBound IT is the best support and service for home computer users. You get top-notch antivirus, backup, and remote support. Plus, if you need in-store service, it's free. Visit us at 109 Norris Avenue, McCook, or call 877-686-6642. Your digital peace of mind starts here.
All right, so welcome back. Welcome back. What do you want to start off with? You want to start off with the networking or the bookkeeping stuff?
We could finish up that network project. We've been kind of dragging that on for a while, and
well, yeah, because we started it before you went on vacation, mm-hmm. and we had a week's break, and then we finished it up.
Yeah,
that was pretty nice.
Yeah, getting one of the local businesses here a proper network. Mm-hmm. It's crazy when you walk in there and you see the networks, the cables are all on the floor. The network's just on like a small bookshelf. There's the switch, there's the firewall, and the internet device. It was all just sitting there, and
everything's splayed all over, and you can't find one end to the other. Yeah.
And it's really kind of spurred from two pretty significant events. The first one, the change of ownership. Mm-hmm. That's always big in a business when it passes on to a new owner, and they like to make things change as well to fit their mm-hmm. needs. But the biggest one was we had a storm mm-hmm. that took out their internet, and it just
direct lightning hit.
Yeah, and the provider was probably could have been a little bit quicker, but it wasn't quick enough for their need. Now, we kept them up going with what we were able to do, but change in ownership, change an internet provider, and when they did that, the internet provider came in, put in their equipment, and we actually worked with them to put them in a place where, hey, we're going to put our stuff here. You can put your stuff right there.
Yep, exactly. Yep, and we have pretty good relationships with Great Plains Communication locally. Barry, thank you so much for everything you do for us. Whenever we have an issue, they're always, ready, willing, and able to come and assist us. And that was kind of a time where they were really busy because they're running around town as well, like a chicken with their head cut off, because some of their customers had lost equipment due to, lightning storms and that sort of deal. But yeah, he did a wonderful job. And, whenever we do any of these network installs and we work with them, I give them a call, to make sure that we're, on the same page so that your internet provider has a convenient place to put their stuff. We're not getting in their way. They're not getting in ours. So that the customer ends up with, a really good result at the end of the day. Yeah, it was kind of cool because it was just like right beside, and we were able to do a number of things. We put their stuff in a rack, all nice and organized because it has a patch panel, and we mark down which devices are on which port. So when something goes wrong, it makes it really fast for you to identify what's going on. And so we did that, and we put in a unified Dream Machine special edition. And those things are just like the Swiss Army knife of networking. You can put, it has some firewalling and some internet security features on it. It has the ability as well to do surveillance, camera stuff. It's just a really nice piece of equipment. Put a nice switch in there, which everything is all, and then we put in some access points because those are kind of important in this business. It's a people business, and everybody needs to have access to internet. And customers come in and they bring in their phones or what have you. But the important thing is when you have people coming in from the public that need to get on internet, you don't want them on your network. So we were able to set up 3 separate networks. One of them was for the company. The other is for guests. And then the other was for what we call IoT devices. And Keith, can you explain what an IoT device is for our viewers?
Yeah, and those are anything that's really not a computer or a tablet or a phone, things like that. So smartphone, so something that you would connect to your internet Wi-Fi. So things like your TVs, your camera system can be on that. Any of your other smart devices.
Could be your washing machine.
Yeah, thermostats, all those things that really don't fall under you something that you're using to get on the internet. Probably even game consoles would probably fall under that category.
So. Mm-hmm. I guess the one commonality with any of those IoT devices is that typically they're not always given regular firmware updates. And sometimes, due to the low cost of the item, maybe it's like a light bulb or something like that, a smart light bulb. They don't get the firmware updates. They don't get the security patches and those sorts of things. So you want to make sure that you are keeping those items away from your company or your computer network if you're at home. And so that's kind of why we do the 3 different networks. Your guest where you're in a business or you're at home, and maybe it's you got your kids and their friends come over with their phones. You have no control over what their kids have, what your kids' friends have on their phones, but you want to give them access to the internet. But you're going to want to make sure that you keep them off of your stuff. Keep it separate and apart. So yeah, in the business side of things, we do the Dream Machine, but we've got this little handy dandy little entry level device called Unify Express, and it's designed for the home user. Mm-hmm. And we do sell these. We don't sell them without configuration though. So if you want one of these guys, it's going to be $200, but it's going to come configured for you. And we'll set it up with those 3 networks. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, the one beautiful thing about this item is it also has a built-in Wi-Fi access point built right into it. And it has some of those firewalling features. It's not as robust as your business networks, but it's going to be a lot better than what most people have with their internet service provider router, because the internet service provider router has basically 0 protections on it, almost 9 times out of 10. So if that's something you're interested in, we do stock them, and we're happy to configure them up. It doesn't take us very long, and we can set it up in the 3 network fashion for you so that you're ready to go and be as secure as you can be. If you need something a little beefier, or maybe you want to have cameras in your house, like for for protection, we do have other versions of these types of devices that we can provide you for that. So,
another thing we did for this business during that network project as well was, it's rather a large location. Like you said, we put in the Wi-Fi access points. We actually added 3 to the building. So the building's pretty large. So we got Wi-Fi in all areas of the building now. And they actually wanted to move, do some rearranging. And so they had an office that in the back was pretty much just storage. We ran a cable and hooked it up and tested it. And now they can get internet in this office. And so that they can move their, I don't know what this person would necessarily do. She's kind of the manager, maybe the bookkeeper, kind of the one that does it all, but to put her in her own office in a separate area from where the guests are coming in. And now they actually have a proper area for everybody, where there's the guests, whether it's the employee, staff, whatever. So it was nice to do that for them and kind of give them some flexibility and open up some room where maybe some places that weren't just utilized, as much as they could have been.
And I think part of the problem as well was that they had only one access point in the whole building. And, when you start putting walls in between your access points, you get degraded signal. So it's kind of important to have what they call radio line of sight is what they call it. It's not a visual thing, but you can have some obstructions, but if you have a lot of obstructions, you're going to get like a less quality signal. And even in that back area, you were able to get 2-3 bars.
No, I was getting full reception.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah. Phone buzzing.
Yeah.
We'll call you back. Anyways, yeah, it was a little bit of a quiet week. One of the things that we were also working with was accounting systems. So recently, some of the popular accounting systems have gotten to be really expensive, namely QuickBooks, and they have almost stopped selling the desktop version, which people have known and loved for 20 some odd years. Somebody's really desperate to talk to us.
Yeah.
Do you want to just answer it and tell them we'll call you back?
Let's see here. This is Keith. May I help you?
Stand by.
We'll be open in about
one of our regulars.
Yep.
Yep. So anyways, one of the issues has been it's gotten really expensive, and now they're almost pushing most small businesses to use the online version. Not everybody wants to use the online version, and the monthly price does add up. So we've been sort of looking for alternatives, and so I wanted to just kind of bring this up as a topic of discussion mostly. I'm going to show a little piece of software that I found that I actually sent it to our accountant to get a look at, but it was like for if you didn't have like payroll or anything like that, or if you were using a separate payroll service, you could use this in your business. It's made by an Australian company called NCH Software. And Jennifer, you can pop us in the inset there. And it's called Express Accounting. And, it's not the most pretty little piece of software, but it's very functional. Does your invoicing, can handle purchases, payments, has some integrations with another piece of software for point of sale if you are somebody who needs to have point of sale, and credit cards. It'll do credit card stuff with 4 different vendors, PayPal being one of them, Authorize.net, which is another, very popular payment gateway. Has some very decent basic reports. It's a no frills kind of deal. But there's a lot of businesses that don't need to have, a whole bunch of frills. They just need to know cash in, cash out, simple reports, to be able to run their business with. Farm books, for instance, might be, something that you could do with it. But there were actually 2 versions. If you had only one business, it was like $80 one-time payment, versus like a monthly payment, and $130 for the one where if you wanted to have more than one business and you wanted to allow multiple people in your business access to the accounting, you can provide that. So that was kind of a cool piece of software that I found. If you're interested in it, just give us a holler. We don't sell it specifically, but it had really low system requirements. So you don't have to have a big honking computer to run it. It's very small, doesn't take up much space, has really good backup capabilities. I haven't had a chance to really work with the printing checks thing, but it does have a way of customizing how checks print out if you print checks from your computer, like a lot of folks do. But yeah, I've been really impressed with some of the real basic features of it. Had a fair number of decent reports. Like the regular balance sheets and the accounts receivable, trial balances, cash flow statements, etc. Open invoice reports, because it does have an integration with another piece of software called Inventoria, if you want to buy that as an option. That was one, I think, where you bought it by the year. Hang on a second, and I'll tell you. I know the point of sale is like $40 a year. I mean, that's nothing, compared to what folks are. Where's the buy now button on here? Oh, here we go. And it's a fully functional inventory software. Inventoria is, there's several versions. corporate edition, $130. Business edition, $80. I mean, do your own homework. The other thing that really impressed me was for the price, because we had questions over the different versions in between the Express Accounting Plus and the Express Accounting Standard. We put a request. We got an answer back in 5 minutes. I don't know when the last time I ever got that kind of help from Intuit ever was. Like never.
Especially through email. A lot of times you're waiting maybe an hour.
Yeah, that was like literally 5 minutes. Keith and I were, well, what's the difference between this and that? And the answer wasn't on their website, which is like, again, given the price, you have some expectations that it's not going to have, a crazy amount of content on it. Mm-hmm. But because they're relatively quick, I was very impressed with how that went. So we're just putting it out there. What do you guys use out there? We're looking for something to recommend to our customers. That are not wanting to be on the pay forever model. And they're just kind of sick of being taken advantage of by companies that think that they own the world, because currently they do. Until we show them different with our wallets. So bringing up this conversation. Put some comments down below if you're watching this after the live stream is done. We'd love to hear from you. If you're an accountant and you're interested in finding out more about this software, I'm glad to send you the link to this software so you can try it out. I think it was like a 7-day trial, so to speak, and then it starts saying you got to pay for stuff. But yeah. Getting towards the end of the week.
Yeah, well, it is Friday, like you said at the beginning.
It is, yep.
Yep, and, just a quiet week, wrapping up the project, finishing up these, doing some research on different bookkeeping software. Didn't get as many support tickets as we normally do, but, that could go back to what you said in the beginning about, where we live in rural America and
well, it kind of worked out for us because we're actually cutting over some of the software we use to support. Yeah. And so while Keith was gone all last week, I was busy, getting things cut over to the new software. And then it kind of all worked out where yesterday I had Keith, or was it yesterday? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had Keith kind of double look, for that second pair of eyes to make sure that, I had caught every machine that was out there, and
I think it was all but 10.
All but 10, yeah, and that was because people just weren't available or in the hospital or what have you. There's always, when you've got hundreds of machines that you're supporting, mm-hmm. There's always going to be a few that you're not going to be able to reach. Some for technical reasons, because their internet sucked where they were, and we had to kind of call a few people to get them to turn their machines on. Because that's the one big thing for us is like you need to leave, if you're on our service, you need to leave your machine on for a few reasons. First of all, our systems do that maintenance stuff. We have one weekly maintenance and then we have daily maintenance that happens. And then if your machine isn't online, then it doesn't get backed up either. So kind of important for that stuff to happen.
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess we really don't have a lot to talk about, so we're going to kind of go to the cat pick of the week.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's time for the cat pick of the week, Jennifer.
What do you got there?
Not gonna do the video.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we do have video, but we'll do that in a minute. We're a little rusty because we haven't done this for a couple weeks, but we have like a 15-pound cat and an 8-pound cat in a shoebox, and they both fit. That's the yellow cat is Claire, and the other one is Ned, and they're kind of boyfriend and girlfriend, so to speak.
They delivered them to you in a shoebox, huh?
Yeah, they did. And they just kind of like to mellow out in the shoebox. I don't know why cats, even in the heat, they'll snuggle together. They just like the heat, I guess. All right, so which video do we have going on here this week, Jen?
Business email compromise.
All right, so here's a little bit of education on business email compromise.
Business email compromise, or BEC, is a growing threat in today's digital world. In these types of attacks, cybercriminals infiltrate email accounts to deceive employees into transferring money. Most BEC compromises involve wire transfers or other irreversible transactions. Here's a concise guide to safeguard your business. 1. Educate employees about BEC risks and how to spot phishing emails. 2. Implement technologies such as SPF, DKIM, and DMARC to prevent email spoofing. 3. Establish strict protocols for verifying payment requests directly with those responsible. 4. Monitor email activity for signs of unauthorized access. Accounts that send emails should be tied to one responsible person when possible. 5. Enable multi-factor authentication for added account security. 6. Verify vendors and partners before sharing sensitive data. 7. Consider cyber insurance coverage for financial protection. Protect your business from BEC attacks and minimize the risk of financial loss or data breaches. Stay vigilant and
Whoops.
All right. Well, Jennifer cut off the end of the business email compromise thing. If you have any questions, make sure that you leave some comments down below, and we will answer whatever we can or give us a call. And I think it's our time to do our chair dance out. Of course, we've got to have the disco ball.
Oh, I forgot the disco ball. Works.
We are rusty. So we're going to dance our way out of here. So thank you very much for joining us this week. And we will see you next week on Wednesday for another episode. And then we got to go help our customer now
Yes.
because he came all the way from Elwood. So we're going to see you later. Have a wonderful weekend.